I heard about this rabbi who got a message to go to visit a congregant. Okay, so he went to the house and he knocks at the door. And as soon as he knocks at the door, somebody shut the lights inside. That was odd. He kept knocking, nothing. He went to the backyard, knocked at the door, nothing. So he went back to the front door kind of upset. He takes his business card and he writes there, Isaiah 52. Send it under the door. What it says, Isaiah 52, it says, why was no one there when I came? Why didn't anyone answer when I called? A couple of hours later, the rabbi receives a little envelope in his office, and he opens it, and it was a note from the congregant that it says there, Genesis 3:10. So the rabbi rushes to the Tanakh, he opens and said, I heard your voice, but I was afraid because I was naked. I want to talk to you today about turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. And this is a thing, I mentioned a little bit of this during the Torah reading. I believe, I don't know about you, but this is my experience. No day goes by without at least one opportunity for us to get upset, to get frustrated, to get angry. Every single day, something happens, right? Could be, sometimes could be something from, the coffee was burned or was too cold by the time that you remember that you brew it. You can't find the keys, right? And then you finally out of the house, traffic is horrendous. On top of that, weather is miserable. Right? And we have all these things, or then we have no better idea than open the newspaper and start reading it. Right? And then as a result, many times, because of these circumstances, we can get upset, frustrated, we can get angry. Right? And sometimes we have to realize that there are many things in life that you can't control. I don't know if you ever realize that there are many things that you cannot control. You cannot control what people are going to say to you or do to you at the office or at school. It's not under your control. You cannot control the weather with your mind. It doesn't work that way. You cannot control the traffic, right? You cannot control what the president of other country will do tomorrow. You cannot control what Iran will do. You cannot control what Hamas will do. But you know what you can't control? You can't control the way you respond to everything that happens to you. That is in your hand. You cannot control the external circumstances, but you can control what you are going to do about it. And so everything starts with a decision. You have to make a decision first, because I understand it's difficult. It's difficult not to get upset, not to get frustrated, not to get angry. It's difficult. But everything starts with your decision. Today, I'm not going to let anything upset me, ruin my day, or steal my joy. You have to start by affirming that to yourself. In fact, you have to remember that in Judaism, we have something that sometimes people forget, and that is mitzvah gedolah lihiot besimcha, which means it's a great mitzvah. You know what? This is the confusion. Mitzvah is not a good deed. It's not an act of kindness. Mitzvah is a commandment. So what does it say? It's a great mitzvah, lihiot besimcha. It's a great commandment to be joyous. And sometimes we forget how that statement from the rabbis ends. It says, mitzvah gedolah liot besimcha. What is the next word? Tamid. Always. Why would it be a great mitzvah commandments to always have joy? Because whoever said that knew that there are sometimes little things that it will steal our joy. And you need your joy, you need it. Tamid, always. You always need your joy if you want to have a better chance to fulfill your destiny, your goals, your dreams, whatever you want to do. Because when something or someone steals your joy, then I don't know if you realize when you get upset, angry, disappointed, you're not thinking straight. Because you're already thinking in somebody else, in a situation, instead of having all your attention to solve the problems that you have to solve, because it's something that it will affect your own life. And it's something that is really important. And I understand that sometimes there are big things that happens to us, and they need our attention, and we have to kind of get distracted from our goals to take care of that. Big things, fine. But there's every day, many little things, well, I like to call them petty things, right? That for some reason, they steal our joy. When it's somebody else looking at the situation, they may even say, really, are you getting upset for that little thing? Yes, we do. We do get upset for little things. Somebody said something to you, and you start a fight, and you never end it. There is a funny story in the Tanakh. In the Tanakh. It is from the second book of Kings, and it's in chapter 2. Listen to this because it's kind of funny. And it's about the prophet. Which prophet was this one? No, I shared. It was a prophet that he was going to a city, and then when he was entering, there were a group of bullies who started to yell at him, "Go away, Baldy!" I wish you didn't know that was in the Bible. He said, "Go away, Baldy! Go away, Baldy!" And then said the prophet, instead of starting a fight with them, he put everything in God's hands. It says that he cursed those people in the name of God and moved on. And then what happened, it says that 2 bears came and took care of the situation. It's interesting because that story will teach you 2 things. Number 1, never make fun of a bald guy with a direct line to God. And number 2, don't get distracted with petty things. Let God take care of that. And that is part of us developing a strong faith. And this is what I was mentioning during the Torah service. That when we don't have a strong faith in God, we feel that we have to solve every little thing that happened to us. I don't believe that's true. And as I mentioned, yes, we may have some big things that they need our intervention. But there are little things that happens to us in life, little disappointment. Somebody said something to you. Something is happening that you cannot control. Don't waste your time. Don't get distracted with that and do like the prophet. Put it in the hands of God. And I'm pretty sure God will have a better solution than your solution, whatever that might be. And when you put everything in the hands of God, when you have enough faith to do that, then you can go back and have all your joy to continue working on whatever you need to be working on. Your destiny, your dream, your projects, etc. And then it comes to this week's Parsha. And I believe that there is something very similar that happened. And the whole difference of outcome was because one group had faith, hope, trust in God, and the other one didn't. I'm talking about the second last plague, the plague of darkness. That the Torah specifically said about the plague of darkness, that it was darkness in all Egypt. But in the land of Goshen, where the Israelites were living, there was light. How was that possible? That it first says that the darkness covered the entire land of Egypt. That includes Goshen. But in Goshen, there was light. And I believe what the Torah is telling us there, that yes, it was darkness everywhere. Despair, death, destruction, that was everywhere. But the difference is because of the Israelites had faith and they were able to put their lives on God's hand, they never lost the joy. So even though externally there was darkness, they didn't let that darkness enter their lives. And they had light even in the midst of darkness. And this is something that we can learn from them. Because we sometimes look around, turn on the TV, get out of your house, or go to work, or to school, to universities, and we feel the darkness around us. But don't let that darkness steal your joy. Because if you allow external circumstances to steal your joy, then you get distracted. You cannot fulfill your destiny. So there is something that sometimes we forget, that not everything is for us to take action. Some of the things we have to trust that God can do a better job than we can. We have to learn to put our problems in God's shoulders. We have to learn not to tell God how big your problems are, but to tell your problems how big your God is. And when you do that, when you strengthen your faith, then what happens is maybe darkness around, but you have a wonderful and powerful tool that is you can turn on the light, regain your joy, and you can continue with your destiny, and even more. You can spread that light with others around you. Shabbat Shalom.